Mark 5 verses 1 to 20 tells a story about a man who was demon-possessed, who was harming himself, screaming, cutting himself day and night. He caused a sin, and he caused a lot of trouble to many, so much so they bound him, but no chains were strong enough. He had some sort of unusual power. So Jesus confronted the powers and commanded them to leave. They leave and they destroy a whole herd of pigs. Big financial loss that results in people forgetting that the man was healed, and all the story was told about the commercial loss. Back then, like now, people focus on the wrong thing, often. So the spirits are gone. They caused the trouble. The people who heard the news decided to ask Jesus to leave their area. Cause no more harm, no more trouble. To them, Jesus was a potential troublemaker. The man who was healed, who is forgotten by the crowds, wanted to give his all to Jesus. And he wanted to follow Jesus everywhere. And Jesus told him, no, go home to your friends, tell them how much the Lord has done for you and what mercy he has shown to you. So the question you and I should ask, what is our message as the people of the kingdom? Is it a denomination? Is it practices, customs, beliefs? What should we preach? Kingdom means the rule of God. And the message of the kingdom is the mercy of God. The mercy, the presence of God is here to show mercy to sinful humanity that accepts his help in Jesus Christ. So again, the oppressed man is there, obvious. The oppression is still around. The power of evil is there today. It causes harm day and night. The commercial losses are a reality because of it. There is no question about that. Jesus is the same. The oppressed people are still there. Is Jesus still here? He came into the world. He showed us his power, his authority. He taught us. He died for us, as we will see through the gospel. And he rose again. So he is available to us. He is on our side still. Jesus rules over the spirits that cause the harm and the pain. Jesus is still willing to work with us to bring healing, to bring mercy. The message is God's mercy. The message is God's mercy. The message will always be God's mercy. It is true, though, that fear overtakes us, intimidation, and often we don't act on the simplicity of the call. We don't act, we don't behave as if we are under the kingdom or the rule of God. His boss, he calls you, you should follow. But fear comes in, or ignorance when we don't hear him, or worry, or even lust and greed for other things. A bucket list that doesn't exist suddenly becomes our life's goal. That gives no satisfaction and brings no presence of God in it. As soon as you do it, it's forgotten. And like those who lost financially, we end up asking Jesus to leave. All we can see is not the testimony, but the loss, the trouble. Not the testimony, but the tyranny of the loss, which is temporary. Those who looked after pigs were considered unclean anyway. They needed God's intervention. And here we see the man who was healed, never forgetting what God has done. Have you forgotten what God has done? Have you got no story to tell? Here is what Jesus asked the man to do. Go home to your friends. Tell them how much the Lord has done for you and what mercy he has shown you. That's our job, friends. Regional Australia needs people who go home to their friends, tell them how much the Lord has done for them and what mercy he has shown them. People don't need to hear some fancy message. They want to know, how is God real to you? If he's real. The man went to Syria, as far as I know, and everyone was amazed in Syria. Far from the temple, far from the priesthood, far from the fancy customs, far from endorsement, but very close to the power of God, the mercy of God. Australia needs to hear about the mercy. We need to start now to talk about the mercy, not about our churches, about denominations, about practices, about our music and preaching. We need to get on with the most important message. Go home to your friends and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and what mercy has showed you. Father in heaven, let your message be heard and received everywhere and anywhere. Grab hold of every person who hears the message and bless them with the reality of the kingdom. For I can say to my friends that you do very much for me and that you show me mercy all the time. Thank you, thank you, thank you in Jesus' name.